everybody. It is Tuesday. My son is writing another exam today, chemistry. Actually has 2 chemistry exams this week. And a few others, I think. So bizarre, this IB program is very different in regards to how they do things overall, including exams. But I just want to say it's such a beautiful, beautiful, sunny, still chilly day here in Toronto, Nova Scotia. Very, very nice. So I thought I would jump on here and do a little review of the newest baby I got from Temu. And to just go through her and dress her. And yeah, let's do that. All right, guys. So this is the newest baby. This is the baby I got yesterday from Temu. I just want to review her. She's very, very light. I'm going to change her, but I'm not going to weigh her or put any put any weight on her, change her in any way currently. Her head, there's nothing in it. Well, might be a little bit of something, but not much. Little bit of something. I think it's just all like, what do you call it? Stuffing or whatever in there. I did notice when I got her, I don't know if you can see it, there's a really prominent little vein that they squiggled. It almost looks like they squiggled it on top of everything else. Like they went back and did it. Her legs are all bundled up. I have been told she is a replica of a sculpt, which I didn't realize. She has applied eyelashes. The shape of her head is very, very newborny, aren't ya? She has pretty paint. Her arms, let me see. Her arms don't move at all. Yeah, her arms are fixed where they're located. You can't even really force them to move. They're in there so tight. So you would have to put new zip ties on her. Her body is really stuffed. But like I said, I mean, she's really a pretty, pretty girl. I don't know what you guys like to dress your babies in, but for me, I love sleepers. It seems to be my get-go. I think it's because when my kids were small, I always wore sleepers on them because it was the most comfortable, convenient, warm, because both of my children were born in the winter times, and easy thing. And less expensive compared to like outfits. Outfits are really cute. But I don't know. It doesn't feel... I don't know. I just like sleepers. The more sleepers I can get, the better. I'm having a sip of my coffee. So let's put this sleeper on here. This is a sleeper that... I don't know if I got it or it came with the baby. I think I might have gotten it. She has nice little tips. Her vinyl is very, how do I say this? It's not hard. It's very soft vinyl. I think these Temu babies would be very nice without a battery. Didn't have a, not a battery, a magnet. Very nice for a nursing home or a child. You don't have to worry about the paint It's inexpensive. I think this baby cost me, well, it's more expensive than, say, buying a doll, you know, Walmart, I guess, depending, but it cost me like 60 some Canadian for this baby doll. I hate the stiff arms. I hate that. I'm going to have to fix that sooner than later because that's going to irritate me. I like when the arms move very nice. She fits in this pretty good. I need to come up with a name for this, and I can't think of a name. I can't think of a name for this little girl. I think she's super sweet. Beautiful eyes. I see a little vein coming from her ear to her cheek. Very tiny. It's almost like it's a red vein, like it's not like a bluish vein. What am I going to name this little girl? She doesn't smell bad. I'm always smelling dolls. I don't know why, I just do. I had this memory. I don't know why it come up. I think it was just triggered by smell because I was cooking spaghetti and I burned some things on the stove. So I think because of that, I had this memory. And I remember my parents using their lighter to burn one of my toys back together. You know how they burn the plastic and they put it together and it stays? I remember that, and I couldn't think of what it was. Like, what were they burning to put together? And then it dawned on me, it was a little tiny baby cradle. Don't remember exactly what the baby doll was. I think it was a cheaper baby doll. But I remember bringing this cradle to them a few times to fix it when it cracked, like one of the posts or whatever on the cradle. They would burn it and it would melt, and then they would put it together and it would harden. They put it up out of the way for me and I couldn't get to it. And then they would check it, and it's like, okay. It wouldn't last very long and I'd bring it back. I think eventually it was like, this is no good. We can't do anything else with this baby cradle. But it's so weird how smells are attached to memories, eh? You can remember something based on something you smell or see, or something comes back to you. When I worked for the Canadian Mental Health Association, I'll share this. We supported people independently in their own apartments. And not a lot of staff wanted to do this part of it. But there was a massive amount of bed bugs going through the apartments of different people we supported. Everybody visited each other. The personal hygiene wasn't the greatest. It was hard to clean it up because you had to be so diligent in cleaning it. The apartments were more lower end, so the landlords they weren't diligent in cleaning it maybe. I don't know. I mean, just taking someone coming to visit someone after their apartment get cleaned up, and if they had it, you know what I mean? It was just an ongoing cycle, kind of like head lice, right? But it was bed bugs. So we would go and through different places that have known to have them and check it and recheck it and this sort of thing. Gross, I know, very gross. But anyway, it was part of what we did. And actually, I remember the bed bugs going through the small option home too, which was, oh, what a nightmare. Everybody was freaking out, was getting in their homes, and oh, it was just terrible. Anywho, so we went to this one building that I lived in. It was the first building we lived in as a family, moving from Cape Breton to Toronto, Nova Scotia. And I thought, well, this is going to be interesting. I get to revisit, an apartment. Because we lived on the bottom floor and the top floor. A lot of different memories there. I lived there, I would say, since I was about, I think my parents came over. I was right up till about going into grade 4, because I remember we moved and I started my new school in grade 4. So up to that age point. And I was in my 40s. Oh, excuse me. I'm going to get my coffee here. So yeah, I was into my 40s then. And went into this apartment. And it was the exact apartment upstairs that we lived in. We went in and I was just like, oh, wow, this is bizarre, right? And, of course, we went in the bedroom. We checked the mattress. The whole experience was gross. We had to hold the mattress up and look and look and look. And anyway, I won't get into all that detail. Felt bad. You feel bad invading someone's space, but, we were just trying to keep on top of things. Mattresses, under mattresses is where the bugs tend to be, in the seams of mattresses and stuff like that. So, everything was good. I left. I remember saying with the gal that I was with, that was really weird going into an apartment, that I was into as a kid, And I always think about this other building that we lived in a lot. It was actually a rented old house that I was embarrassed about at the time, because it really was a run down old house. And I always think about that, and I dream about that place. But it was later tore down, so I can't go see it. So this was really interesting, going to see this apartment. Lo and behold, we left, went home in our day, and blah, blah. But I started having these memories. And memories downstairs in the basement where Mom would go and do laundry, and we would get on these little bikes and little horse that rocked and different things, and we would run and get on them while my mom did laundry, and we'd be zipping around this basement floor. It'd be mostly me and my brother Derek, because my baby brother, he was very babyish until we moved. He didn't really do a whole lot until we moved. That it became a hellion, I'll say. Anyway, well, that's what I thought of as a kid. So I remember that. I remember the lady, Verna, who lived across the hall from us when we were downstairs in the basement. She was always trying to get us in there to play the piano. And she always wanted us to sing music with her. And she get me in there and she would sing, and she wanted to take me to church. She went to a Baptist church, and she continuously told me that my parents were in the wrong church, Catholic, and that if we continue to stay in that church, I'm going to go to hell. My parents are going to go to hell, all these things, different things that she would say. I remember I was kind of fascinated with her. She had long hair, and she always kept it long. She tied it up in a bun. She always wore skirts and dark skirts, and very, very modestly dressed, and and it was just her living there, and her place was so nice and tidy, and I don't know how to explain it, but I remember as a kid, like, she would give us little treats. She'd bring in, anytime she'd see the neighborhood kids, I remember going in with a friend, she would want us to go in, and she'd give us little treats, and then she would talk to us about God and show us little things about God and blah, blah. My mom didn't mind until she started scaring me, thinking we're all going to hell and stuff like that. So Mom really didn't want us going in there after that. But I remembered her. I remembered a night when we were upstairs in the apartment. A lot of commotion, and my mom putting us under the bed and coming back and saying, "Don't come out from under the bed. Don't come out from under the bed." And, you know, we had to stay under the bed for a period of time. But there was someone in the following apartment that was shooting a gun into our apartment. And made a hole in the wall, and it was just, my grandmother was there too. It was just a terrible situation. And I remember as a kid, I don't really know all that happened. I know I read a newspaper article later. My mom showed me, but we went to a hotel that night with my grandmother. The police came, and did we go to a hotel? I don't know if we went to a hotel or went back to our apartment or not. All I know is we got in a police car, and that was quite fascinating. We got in the back seat of the police car with my grandmother, and we must have been relocated somewhere. Anyway, these are different memories that come up. You know, you're just remembering things. One memory that came up that I never had before, or a couple of them, was when my dad had gatherings and they played music, and they were drinking, and he played the phonograph. No. What's that thing that opens and closes? No. What's it called? I can't think of the name of it right now. But he played that, and anyway, when we would go to bed, he would want us to go around and kiss and hug everybody, give them a good night kiss, go give what's his name a good night kiss, and I used to hate giving them hugs and stuff. I really felt uncomfortable, right? But that's what we did. And I don't know if my mom remembers that. Maybe she was out and about during these times, but I do remember doing this. And I do remember anyway, I won't get into all the detail, but I do remember that it was a time that I was what language do I use for this? Inappropriately being touched by an individual that was there. He would get me to sit on his knee, and he would have a blanket, and he would touch me inappropriately, and just, as a child, of course, I didn't know how to react. It was obviously a memory that I blocked, really. I blocked. And how did I get in this conversation? I just started a video about smells and the little cradle, and then it went from there, didn't it? You just don't know. Anyway, it was really scary having that memory, and I never could understand how some people would come out with something so many years later. It's like, well, this happened to me, right? And you'd be thinking, why didn't you think of it before? Well, sometimes you need a trigger, and visiting that apartment building itself and the apartment and stuff did trigger memories for me, and that was one of them. Well, there was a few times there, but I really don't want to think about it, and I don't. But that individual has passed on now, but he was involved in our family for a very, very long time. Even in adulthood, he would come around. There was something about him I was really uncomfortable with, and I couldn't put my finger on it. I really couldn't. But I was really, really uncomfortable with this particular person. And yeah, I know there's probably other things blocked there because of the different behaviors that I displayed, and I won't get into that too, but I think certain behaviors you see in children, it kind of is a high indicator of some sort of abuse. So, I didn't want this video to go humdrum. It started out to be really beautiful and nice. I want everybody to know I'm not stressed or you know, I'm not emotionally bothered by that as an adult. But when I look back, I think about how my behaviors and how my relationship with the opposite sex was very different, was very scary. I was very withdrawn, shy, and I don't know how to explain it, but it just was different than my peers. So yeah, this video is about this little girl. And I got to think of a name for this little girl. Oh, that's a good coffee. Why do I think? I'm going to put her sculpt name up there, but I'm thinking her sculpt name was Blossom. Maybe I'm wrong. I'd have to look because I know a few people under the previous video when I got her told me that her sculpt name was Blossom. Or Blossom or something. And if that's the case, I like that name, Blossom, if that's the case, but I can't remember if it is. Anyway, she's super sweet. So I just wanted to do a video on her. Look at that. I like her. I like her little open lips. And these little soothers, I like them. It's really strong magnet in there. But I like how the soother's covered up by plastic. I know we make our own soothers and we put our own little magnets on there, but for some reason, I like this, even though it doesn't, it's more doll-like than realistic. I think it's cute. But I think I've mentioned before, I don't really use soothers or things like that with my dolls very often. Anyhow, guys, thank you so much for listening and for being here and listening to some of my life shared with you and spending some of your day with me. And I hope you guys all have a fantastic day. I am waiting for my Charlie. Kay and I were really nervous because on her end it said the baby doll was, that Charlie was delivered. And on my end it said Charlie wasn't delivered. So we kind of had a, you know, oh no, what's going on? Where's Charlie? And so, yeah, that was kind of nerve-wracking. Still don't know. It just says it's in a facility in Canada. At least it's an updated, because it's been a few days where they never updated nothing. So it's at least it's an updated current location, wherever that is, somewhere in a facility in Canada. I hope to see him today or tomorrow. I really do. All right, guys. Bye.